welcome to today's Vlognukkah video. I think it's day 5, I think. And today we are going to be looking at my bullet journal, quote unquote, from 2025. This is the one I used. It was a TUI River Cruise one that I still had from when I worked on the ship. I stole a few. And actually, when I was on the ship, one of the other ship's cruise directors had bought a label maker and it got me very excited. And they made this and stuck it on. That was at the time, but I like it. And then Sam got me these 3 stickers and I arranged them in a way that's made me really, really happy this year. The journal came with a loop, whatever you call this, a pen loop as well, which last year it fell off. I had the same journal last year, but this year it's still going strong despite how many pages there are, and it's definitely like on its end. And 1 bookmark. So, as you can see, it's very big. What I decided to do towards the end of the year was stick in at the back any like bits and bobs, kind of junk journaling, because I'd collected a couple of things over the year and I always just keep them like in a drawer or something, and I thought actually I've still got a lot of spare pages on this. I spent a lot of time deciding whether or not to try and use less, like in October time, use less pages until the end of the year and try and use it for 2 years, or actively like just use as much as I want and just acknowledge the fact, accept the fact that this is going to be used just for 2025. And then when I thought about all these things I had that I could stick in, I figured, no, we'll just use it for 2025. So there will be a video going up shortly of me setting up my 2026 journal. But for today, we're going to be looking at this bad boy. I hate that phrase. I regret having said it. Right, I'm going to pop you down and we'll talk through it. Here we go. Ta-da. Right, let's just get started. Page 1, Raquel's bullet journal. Then this year I added an index page, which I've been very happy about. I forgot to add December, I've just realised. But this has actually been quite useful for me, so I'm glad about that. Then we had a year in pixels. You can kind of guess when I'm filming this, but we will look at all the emotions of 2025 in a video that will come out at the start of next year. And this is a page for monthly favourites, but I usually just put it straight onto my computer, which is why it's quite empty, but you will see what my plan is for 2026, because I obviously don't need this much space. This page is all of the shows I went to see this year, and it's crazy to me. I actually surpassed this and I had to build a part 2, which we'll see later on. But yeah, just insane, very cool. And I love, love, love having this. Now this page is gonna be blurred, sorry about that, but it is all the social activities I've done this year with friends. I've mentioned before, I'm really trying to make more of an effort socially, and this was my way of sort of seeing who I needed to catch up with, whose turn it was, and what fun things we can do. These 2 pages, unfortunately, are both going to be blurred, but that's because on the left, we've got my audition tracker, and I feel a bit funny sharing with you exactly what I've auditioned for, so sorry about that. And then on the right, we've got my birthday planner, and because it's personal details of other people, I want to keep it blurred as well. And I would highly recommend having a birthday planner tracker. It's very useful, especially if you've got people who you buy gifts for year after year after year. Again, I think I'm gonna blur this left page, and that's only because it's my YouTube ideas and I didn't use all of them. I definitely used some, but there's still more to come, and I don't want to spoil that for you. And then on the right, I've mentioned this before, I like having somewhere where I can see how I do my thumbnails for things and like the way I edit them. Although I think a lot of this is gonna change for next year, which, slight spoiler alert, I guess. Then these are the 2 pages that I didn't end up using at all, as you can see. On the left, we have things to consume, and the reason this one wasn't used, because actually there's a lot that could go on here, is because I then, like 2 pages later, made a page that said priority with Wayne, which were like things I wanted to watch or whatever with Wayne, and a lot of that overlapped, so I just went onto that page rather than this one. And then the compliments page, I spoke about this last year when I was making it. Basically, I have like a jar of compliments that are not related to, what do you call it, like looks or anything like that. And I thought I would want them on here, but actually I've been fine without it, clearly. Once again, I'm sorry, these pages are going to be blurred, but on the left we've got my self-assessment where I've got a couple of different categories. I've got family, relationship, friendships, work/finance, health, and spiritual. And I ranked them, I rated them, and I added some comments about how I feel about it. But there is space on there for me to add my thoughts at the end of the year, so I think I will do that. And then similarly on the right, we've got my then verse now, and I haven't filled that in yet because it's not the 31st of December yet, but I am curious to see what's the same, what's changed, how I feel, etc. I can see on this page that my subscriber count on the 31st of December 2024 was exactly 300, and I know I'm already over 500 now, which is crazy to me. I have almost doubled in the year. That's crazy. Here's my priority with Wayne list, and you can see I crossed them off as and when I did them. but there are still things outstanding. And on the right, I thought I'd spoken about this, but I realized I don't think I have. I had a goal to do 5,000 squats in 2025. I very quickly realized that, well, not very quickly, but when I had that injury during all my running, I realized I couldn't do, or I shouldn't do squats. And so that very much hindered my progress on this. But I'm currently at 2,700. So my new goal is 3,000 before the end of the year. But I do love the way this looks. This took a lot of time and planning, but it looks very cool. Now, once again, we're gonna blur the left page. This was my anxiety tracker. It was definitely worse, I think, earlier in the year from what I can see here. And sort of since August, it's been pretty reasonable, which is great. I did like tracking this, but equally I felt, I don't know, it didn't feel nice in a way to track it. I thought I would enjoy like having it on paper, but actually I don't like it, so I'm not gonna include it next year. And then, as I've mentioned somewhere, I think, oh yeah, in my December video, I'm doing monthly cover pages now, which is very exciting. And actually this is probably one of my favorites. I do love the frogs. I don't love the highlighter because obviously it's very faded, but I love the writing. I really like, this feels very neat and I like it. And for this, I think I just used a regular black pen, and this was, as you can see, a green highlighter and then another black pen. I'm now going to jump to May. So for this one, I think I used the Artline, whatever they're called, Artline Colour maybe, that I've had for a very long time. And I think I might have also tried to use those ones from the ship. You can see here the sort of outline. Anything that looks a bit weak, that's where that's from. I like the concept of it. I don't love the execution. I don't like that this flower is cut off. I don't know, it's not, I don't like the different, I don't like the leaves, like, I don't know, I don't like the writing. I like the concept, but yeah, execution needs work. Next, we're gonna jump onto June, which is also one of my favorite cover pages. I did it themed for my holiday. I love it. I like the writing style. Again, this feels very neat. You've got the flags of the countries we went to, we've got a map, we've got a suitcase, and we've got the sun, which initially when I started drawing it, I didn't love the way it looked, but I think I made it work. I really like this one. This one brings a smile to my face. And I feel like for this one, I again used the Artline ones, but I could be mistaken. And this bright yellow definitely wasn't. That might have been Stabilo. And then I did also use some white gel pen on those. On to July. This one I was actually kind of impressed with. I went very Wimbledon themed, which I think is unexpected of me. But I do like the tennis. And I think for this, I definitely used Hamley's pens. I think they were all the whiteouts, although I could be mistaken. And I did the Riley Autumn thing of doubling up from about halfway down. And I think the tennis balls look really good, actually. I really like those. And that's very much thanks to the Hamley whiteout pens, because I just had to draw a circle and then some squiggles. I think the strawberries are okay, but the whiteout obviously didn't work quite as well on them. The whiteout is very old, and so it doesn't look quite as good, and also the shape of the strawberries isn't perfect. But then I found this washi tape which said Hello Summer. I've no idea where I got it from, but I had it, and so I used it there, and there was a little bit actually on the start of it that I just thought stuck in nicely there. So yeah, overall this is a fun theme. I like this, I'm happy with this, and the composition of it. And this is not quite centered, but aside from that I do like it. Here's just some of the pen swatching that I did at the time. There's strawberries again. I made a whole video of this. And then here we've got August theme, which I'd planned for so long, and it was so close to being really, really good. I just needed to put the leaf behind, or the stem, sorry, behind the leaves. But I love the colours, I like the way it looks, I like the outline on this one, and I like the writing. Again, I feel like the writing is often the biggest thing when it comes to the cover pages for me. And I'm not entirely sure which pens I used here. I can't quite figure it out. I feel like the leaves must have been from the Artline set, because I don't think I've got any other yellows that are so strong. I don't know, but I did again use a little bit of the white gel pen there, as well as a regular pen. And then I just want to show you this page. I did a read your colour quiz a while ago, and then I did a video where I only read blue books and I had to do research for that. And then I'm going to, at some point, hopefully, maybe if I can find the energy and the time, read all the other colours and see if blue was right or if I felt more affiliated to one of the others. And this is how I've been sort of keeping track of the books and which colour they belong to, and then if it's an audiobook or if I can get the audiobook or the ebook and where. So just to give you an idea of how I use the journal and also how I plan things. On to September. I'm really happy with this theme as well. This was the day of, or the month of my half marathon. I don't love the shoe. There's something just not quite right about it, but it's not terrible. This is obviously the badge thing that you get on your thing. I don't know what it's called, bib. Your bib. And there's the medal. And I think for this entire theme, I just used the thin pens from the ship, or maybe the Stabilo ones. I'm actually starting to think it might have been the Stabilo ones. But again, I love the colours in this and I like the way it looks. I'm very happy. I like the September. Yeah, this theme makes me happy as well. October might be the standout for me. This was very much based off a theme my sister did, I think a couple of years ago, and she showed it to me and I loved it. I wonder if I've still got the original on my phone. Let me just have a look. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the picture I took earlier this year of something that she did, like, I think last year or the year before. And I don't know why I didn't like the one line, so I went for 2 lines. And again, I did the Riley Autumn trick of adding white gel pen wherever it crosses over, which I'm still not sure if I like that or not, but we went for it. And for this theme, the key, what was really brilliant, yeah, also I felt like I wanted to add some more doodles. But as I was saying, the genius of this spread was that I used the 1x Colour Magic pens from Hamleys. And first of all, that's the only black I seem to have, so I needed to use that. But it meant that this outline is so perfect. And that's because what I did was I just drew the whole thing in the one colour and then went over the outline with the white, with the magic pen, sorry. And I love the way this hat looks. I did definitely copy that from something online, but it looks really good. And then similarly with the bats, I don't even know if you can see the eyes, that was also a colour changing pen. And it works so well. I love this theme. This might be my best in terms of like looking the most clean and professional, I guess. Oh, and then here is part 2 so far of the theatre tracker. I'm not sure if we're going to be adding any more at this point, but as I say, I ran out of space on the first, so I had to make a new one. And then here on the left, first of all, if you want to have a look on the right, I think I wrote down what I think I used for each theme. But this is definitely another example of how I use my journal, and that is to do test runs of what I might do for the next month. And I think simultaneously I saw that Riley Autumn had done this. I think I was watching one of her videos and she did a mermaid theme. So I wanted to see if I could recreate that. And I do like the way that looks. I might use that next year. I very much considered doing something with scarves for November, but clearly I wasn't very happy with any of them. And again, I'm practicing different writing styles because that I feel makes the theme. But you'll see the November theme very, very soon. And there it is. I love this one as well. I think this one took me the most amount of time, and that's because I had to fill this in with a very, very thin pen. That pen was from the Ship cheap set, but I think everything else that I used came from the Artline ones again, except maybe the outline of the mug. But yeah, I really like the way this turned out. And again, I like the writing. I like the writing. And here's just another example of how I use this book. You actually might have seen me, oh, you wouldn't have seen it yet, but you will see me use this page to be a sort of shield, I guess, for when I'm colouring in to my new bullet journal. But again, I just like practicing different ways of writing and how I can use things. Then you have seen this one already, but there's the December theme now that it's been settled. I mentioned it at the time, but this should have been longer and this should have been taller. But aside from that, I'm quite happy with it. Although you can see now very clearly that the December writing is very similar to the November writing. And I was trying to keep it different every theme, but alas. And now, that's kind of everything I wanted to show you on this side of it, but let me show you what we've stuck in from our time this year. So we're starting at the back. We went to Cabaret earlier this year. That's the first thing I have, but if I'd started this earlier in the year, I probably would have had things from before May, but it's fine. Cabaret, and then this is when we went on holiday in Greece. There's a few more things from our holiday in Greece. This is a map, that's the hotel, some other things, bits and bobs. That's from when we went to the Harry Potter studios. This is when I went to Panorama Mestach with my father. There's the map, very exciting. This is from when I went to The Importance of Being Earnest, the premiere. Ta-da, very exciting. And I don't know if I mentioned this at the time, but we actually, on the back of this, there was a map to where the after party was. We didn't go, but it was very cool. So I'm definitely gonna keep those. Obviously this is going to be blurred, but it was my boarding pass to fly to Holland to see the K3 concert, actually to Belgium. This I'm not going to talk about right now. And then here is when we went to see Dodie, and Aaron was there and he gave us stickers. And some of this is going to be blurred too, but this is from the bat mitzvah I went to just last weekend. And that's it for now. There might be more. I don't know how much more we're going to get this year, but we'll see. But that is my bullet journal, quote unquote, for 2025. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what your favourite monthly theme was. I've really enjoyed incorporating them this year, and I definitely intend to incorporate them again next year and hopefully learn and grow and do better. But yeah, I liked this a lot. Also let me know what your favourite spread is, or the most interesting, or you know, if you have a bullet journal, which spreads you like to use, which themes you like to use, what kind of pens you like to use. I'm not going to buy more pens, but always nice to know. And I will see you tomorrow for another video. Bye!